Hey there, welcome to step 3. So this is landing page secrets. So here's what we're going to cover. First, why your online store doesn't matter that much at first. Second, the basic requirements to set up your online store. Third, the perfect landing page outline. And fourth, how to steal the best ads and landing pages of the top direct-to-consumer companies. So first off, why your online store doesn't matter that much at first. Now, if you already have a Shopify store set up, you've likely had to pick a theme along the way. They have themes you can buy. They have themes that, other influencers kind of sell and you can download or buy from them, or you get with their courses and that kind of thing, or you can just pick one from Shopify's library. So this is kind of an essential requirement to set up your store. But most people aren't going to be going to your store at first. So your online store, especially your theme, doesn't matter a whole lot to begin with, as long as it's functional on desktop and mobile, which most of them should be. So for example, here's a company called The Ridge. You can look them up and I'll show you how to find their ads and landing pages later. But they seem to be selling a ton of these little sort of high-end wallets that, sort of slim wallets. And so they seem to be selling a ton of these things. This is kind of their store page here, but their actual traffic is mostly flowing to different landing pages, which I'll show you. This is the landing page that I originally found and have modeled for another business. And so they basically say 5 reasons why millions of men are switching to the Ridge wallet. Now, if you notice something different about this page, so if I go to their homepage, there's a little drop-down menu on the top left. You can click wallets, you can click products, you can click support, you can click a different country, you can click your cart, you can click shop now, all kinds of different things you can do on here. If you were to scroll down, there's even more stuff you can do. On this landing page, all you can really do is decide whether or not you want to buy this product or not, which is what you want with a landing page. You want one specific goal with a landing page to sell usually one specific product and have no other distractions on there, which is why the landing page is such a critical part of this. And the beauty is you only have one page you have to deal with. You don't have to worry about all your different product pages, your terms pages, your privacy, your account, your about page. Like all that stuff is nice to have and is especially the terms and privacy, sort of legally required. But beyond that, how they look, how they're designed, all that stuff doesn't really matter a ton. All that matters is this one page works extremely well. Because usually you'll be going straight from this page into Shopify's checkout. Shopify's checkout, there's only so much you can do to modify that. Shopify has pretty much standardized that, which I think is kind of a good thing because then it makes the look and feel even subconsciously comfortable for most buyers. And so this is really the only page you have to worry about because you're going to go straight to checkout, which there's not that many options you can do anyways. So basic requirements to set up your online store, now that you know the landing page is what really matters, is you got to go sign up for Shopify. If you haven't already, you'll have to pick a theme along the way. You'll need to get a payment processor. You'll need to get a domain. I still use GoDaddy.com. I believe you can actually get it straight through Shopify if you're going there from scratch, but I still use GoDaddy.com because then I can transfer the domain around to anywhere I want. So then you create a Shopify account, then you choose a theme, set up a payment processor. You can use Shopify Payments, which is built in, or you can set up a separate Stripe account and use that. Or if you have a different payment processor, you can use that as well. Then you need some basic requirements of terms, privacy, and contact pages. Now there's examples from online of what you need. So I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to tell you what you need on your terms and privacy pages, but it's pretty standardized. Everyone on the planet needs one of these things. So you can do a little research online and figure that out, no problem. So now, the perfect landing page outline. You've done those super quick, simple setups for your store. I believe you could probably do all that in an hour or two. And then once you have that done, then it's time to focus on where your traffic is really going to be going, where your sales are going to be happening, which is your landing page. So this is a landing page that we've run for years that has produced tens of millions of dollars in sales. Depending on the traffic source, converts as high as 6%. Which is pretty good for cold traffic, people that have never heard of you before. Has an average order value of around $70, which is pretty impressive, selling, basically $20 bags of coffee. So we have a headline here, as you can see. We've got some bullets that kind of talk about features and benefits. We've got a scarcity item kind of here, or a special discount, which is the 50% off. And we kind of have a testimonial right there. We've got a ton of testimonials on the rest of the page. And then we kind of lead into more proof, more testimonials, more benefits, more features. And I'll cover these main elements for you. But just so you know, this isn't like the world's greatest looking page, not best design. It's not the most functional and mobile. It's good enough on all that stuff, but it hits all the elements I'm about to share with you. Same thing with this Ridge Wallet page. And so they have a good headline on there. And then they have some social proof in terms of the 50,000 plus 5-star reviews. They have a lead-in little story, more social proof about being in the pockets of 2 million people. Then they go through 5 different reasons, which are really kind of benefits and features. And so they talk about, getting a lifetime warranty, so you kind of have a guarantee there. And then they cover at the top, it says limited time sale, so they've got some scarcity there. It says use code RIDGE10. So no matter what landing page it is, and the order isn't super important, what matters is that you cover every single one of these elements as best as you possibly can. So saying the perfect landing page outline is maybe slightly misleading. It's almost like the perfect landing page elements. As long as you have all these elements, obviously your headline's gonna come first. I believe your story should come next. Where you put all the rest of this stuff, not quite as important. We kind of pepper them in. So we'll basically on our landing page have like headline, story, some social proof. Then we'll have some like benefits and features, more social proof. We'll have the offer, more social proof. I believe if we had to pick one element to make the most important on any landing page in terms of getting people to buy, it's proof. If they know for sure that they can get whatever result it is that you're promising, for example, in this case, super high quality wallet that's gonna last forever, look cool, all that kind of stuff. If they can just hammer home proof, then selling becomes very easy. Almost nothing else you say really matters. If you can really prove it a million different ways, which is why the infomercial products, for a lot of those products, I think are probably complete garbage, but that's why they've sold so much, is because they do everything they can in those videos to prove that the product actually works. They show, the rag or whatever, cleaning stuff up super easily, big messes and all that sort of thing. If you can kind of communicate that same thing on your page with testimonials, with images, with little videos if it makes sense, with different ways to use the product, all those kind of ways that you can kind of prove that this thing actually does what you say it will do, that matters more than almost anything. So here's the main elements you must include for a landing page to be effective. A good headline. You got to grab their attention. Ideally, it ties into whatever ad you've used. Because if there's a big disconnect between the ad and the headline, it's probably not going to work because people just be like, I don't even know if I'm in the right place. So you need a good headline that grabs attention or gives the main benefit. When in doubt, when writing a headline, give the biggest benefit you can possibly make, the biggest promise you can possibly make. Back in the day, not really a good idea these days for legal reasons and also because people just don't believe it anymore. But in the weight loss world, if you could say, hey, you're going to lose 30 pounds in the next 3 days or something like that. Back in the day, fast forward, or go back 20, 30 years, like that probably would have worked perfectly fine. And so if you can give the main benefit in the headline that's true and believable, that's going to be the best place to start for a headline. The other option is just to kind of grab attention with something unique that makes people pay attention. For example, ours, that headline you saw was doctors prove you can drink up to 5 cups of coffee per day if you drink the right kind. So it's kind of a curiosity-based headline. And so it's kind of saying, okay, yeah, great, I could drink a lot of coffee, then that's out of the way. I already drink a lot of coffee, but maybe not all coffee is created equal. Like, what does he mean by, if you drink the right kind? So it's kind of more of curiosity-based headline, but good default is always just talking about the main benefit. Second, story, why people should read more. So this is kind of connecting the headline to your product and everything else. You don't want to just immediately be like, here's your big headline, buy this product for this discount. You need to have a headline and then some sort of lead-in story that talks about like why they should pay attention. For example, for us, we have the doctors prove you can drink up to 5 cups of coffee per day if you drink the right kind. We've got a little testimonials and benefits and all that kind of stuff, but the actual lead-in story starts talking about some studies that were done that showed a lot of coffee has mold. Then we've also seen on the other side studies that have done that showed all these benefits of drinking coffee, longevity, antioxidants, all that kind of good stuff. And then we kind of connect the two, saying like, okay, there's all these benefits, but then there's all these drawbacks. The solution is to drink the right kind of coffee, which is obviously what we sell. And so that's our lead-in story. So we need something to connect the headline to the product. Third, you need proof. Like I said, this is probably the most important thing. Every way you can possibly give to share proof, the better. This is why a lot of the ads you'll see working really well on Facebook now are literally just showing what appears to be, and sometimes is, real customers just kind of holding up their phone talking about the product. Because people just don't believe anything anymore. But they want to, which is why they look at these things and still buy products. So if you can include testimonials, such as written or video, if you can include customer photos, the more information, the better that you can get away with. If you include their name, their city, their state, their age, like anything you could possibly include on there that is allowable, and the customer gives you the permission to share, then I would do that. Like I said, it could be photos, videos, written. I would use all of them. If you can get influencers, a lot of times it's very common now to include like what look like basically just Instagram shots that show these, people that look like influencers or are influencers using your product. If you can include a bunch of those, I would do that also. We do all of this. We also include doctors using our product because we have sort of staked our claim on being the healthiest coffee possible. And so for us, it's very congruent to have doctors using and talking about the product, dentists, because we show it's lower acid, so it's less likely to mess up your teeth. And so we have dentists sort of approving the product. Every layer of possible proof we can find, we add on there, and I recommend you do the same thing. If you can do demonstrations of your product that it works, that's another good thing. Literally just yesterday was shooting some videos for a client's product, and he has a flashlight that's super heavy duty. And so I was like, okay, what happens if we let's see how heavy duty it is. I literally took my sort of semi-large SUV and ran over the flashlight on soft dirt, rock, hard dirt, and then finally concrete. And it sort of passed all those tests and shot little videos of that, proving that it does what it says. So there's all the customer proof, and then there's sort of product proof. So we'd use every single one of these elements you possibly can. Then I'll obviously also star ratings, number of reviews. If you've mainly sold on Amazon, then I would even pull those ratings. So you could say it's rated 4.9 out of 5 stars. And they don't need to know if it's your store or Amazon or whatever. Has, over 500 5-star reviews. Doesn't matter if your store or Amazon or combining both of them, using all those elements you possibly can. Any one of them, somebody may not believe. You have 50 of them, people will eventually start believing. Fourth, benefits. This is kind of marketing 101. People don't care as much about the features. They care more about what it's going to do for them. Talk about how is their life going to be better, improved based on using your product. And some of that can be shown visually. Think about like a luxury goods product. They're showing people looking super fancy, going to fancy events, getting out of fancy cars, feeling and looking wealthier. That's a benefit kind of more and better shown visually. Whereas if you were to literally say that, hey, everyone's going to stare at you and admire you, and all of a sudden you're going to get invited to award ceremonies. You couldn't literally say that, but you could show it in a picture and it gets in people's heads psychologically. But a lot of times we can just express the benefits written. For example, for us, it can be taste. It can be, stomach friendly. You're not going to have all these issues that you have drinking other coffees, and all kinds of stuff automatically delivered to your house, save time, all that kind of thing. So all the benefits you can possibly cover. Fifth, features, which a lot of times you can wrap the benefits and the features together. You can say, hey, you're going to get this benefit because we have this feature in the product. It's going to be stomach friendly because it's a lower acidic coffee, that kind of thing. So, but either way, make sure you cover every possible features. Apple does this amazingly. They come up with names for all their features that are sometimes just generic features everyone has, but they create a unique name for it and makes you think that they're the only person who has that. So cover every feature and benefit possible. 6, make a special offer. Biggest thing when I've coached people in marketing is I always ask them when a promotion doesn't go well, what did you do to make people have to buy now? 9 times out of 10, they miss that part. Because a lot of times we're thinking we do all this good job of selling the product, giving a good headline, but we don't give any people reason that they have to buy this thing now. It could be a discount, it could be an added bonus, anything you can come up with, but there has to be an answer to the question, why do they have to buy this today? It could be inventory running out. You can use one or more of all of these things. We've run a significant discount a lot of the times, and there's no guarantee that discount was going to be around forever. Sometimes it hasn't been. So we feel like we've been able to ethically say, we don't say, hey, this discount's going away tomorrow if we know it's not, but we'll say, hey, this discount is available today, and there's no promise it's going to be available forever, which is 100% true. And so the more you can do that kind of thing, the better. If you can add real scarcity on there, for example, maybe every week you run a special promotion that's kind of like, this week we're going to give away this product with this. This next week we're going to give away this product for that week, which is different than the week before. That's even better. But sometimes it can be a pain to coordinate. But either way, you need to have some reason for them to have to buy today. 7th, guarantee. Take all the risk off of your shoulders, off of their shoulders, and put it on yours. Standard 30-day guarantee, maybe 60-day guarantee. Anything you can possibly do to make their risk of purchasing nothing, because you should be selling a good product. So most people should be happy with it. If you're selling a complete piece of junk, maybe you could end up in a bad financial situation if you give this crazy guarantee, double your money back, triple your money back, something like that. But if you're selling a good product, a basic guarantee should be almost no risk for you and for them. 8, call to action. Tell them what to do. Tell them to add to cart. Tell them to check out now. Tell them to buy this thing. You got to be very specific and explicit in terms of what you want them to do after going through this landing page. If you cover all these main elements, you will sell more than most people do with almost any other landing page. Lastly, more proof. Testimonials, customer photos, videos, influencers, reviews, demonstrations. Cover that again. So they've kind of been convinced logically, and then it's kind of like sealing the deal with more emotional proof, but also kind of backing up all the stuff you've already just said. So they kind of like didn't really believe you, they started believing you, and now you're kind of sealing the deal of like, okay, I think this is actually legit. So the more you can include on that, the better. So now that you know the major elements to include, 3 ways to create your landing page. First one, and we actually use this a lot, is rather than using some of the built-in stuff in Shopify, because on the landing page with the Shopify store, all you really need are some clickable buttons. So you don't really need a lot of integration with your Shopify store. And so a lot of times we'll just have one graphic designer design a landing page, a million of them that'll do this. They'll create Photoshop files that they'll send to you once it's done. And then we'll hire usually a different person, a web developer, that can just code that page. So they're basically turning the design into HTML and CSS. And then that kind of person, especially if you hire a Shopify developer, can go and upload that to your store, make the buttons clickable, and you're off and running. And you don't have any of the limitations of having to use templates or anybody else. You can literally design any kind of page you want. And so what we've done is we'll find an example such as that Ridge wallet, and I'll show you how to find more examples. And then we'll say, hey, we want a page that looks like this, but then I'll take a Google Doc and I'll write all the content in there that I want, because I'm obviously not selling a wallet. And so I'll say, here's what I want my headline, here's what I want this image here, but we're using like their general structure. And then we'll send it over to designer, and the designer designs our version of the page. Maybe there's a few iterations, send it over to developer, and bam, all of a sudden it's live in our store. The way to find these kind of people, Upwork.com is the biggest kind of outsourcing site. You can hire designers, web developers, and just about anybody else you need to work on your business, Shopify business. So that's one way to do it, but possibly a little more time consuming, a little more complicated if you've never done this kind of thing before. Another option is you can use Zipify Pages, which is an app created by a friend of mine, Ezra Firestone. He's sold a ton on Shopify. He's a great guy, and so he's created some good tools for this stuff. And so Zipify Pages has templates built in. He knows direct marketing as well as anybody, so they've got templates they built in there that are similar to what he's used in his own business that has, I think, done tens of millions, if not over $100 million in sales in e-commerce. And so you can use those templates, and the only limitation is you're kind of stuck within their framework. So it'll be harder just to copy somebody else's page structure from scratch. But you can use these, and they're a great way to get started. Have also produced really good results. Last but not least, you can use ClickFunnels. So a lot of us has ClickFunnels account. Russell Brunson created it, who's been doing internet marketing forever. And this is another example. And so with this, you basically can create a page, and they have millions of different templates in there. And you can go in there and just basically the buttons will click straight into your Shopify checkout. And so it doesn't really matter if it's on a different domain or whatever. But that's another option to create landing pages. So those are 3 different options for you. Any one of them can work for this. So now, how do you get some more ideas? How do you see what ads are people running? How do you see what landing pages they're using? So here's how to steal the best ads and landing pages of the top direct-to-consumer companies. You use something called Facebook Ad Library. So if you literally go to that URL at the bottom, or if you just Google Facebook Ads Library or Ad Library, you'll see this pop up. And so in here, the only thing that you have to do is in a little middle selection. For some reason, it doesn't default to selecting anything. So you have to click that drop down after the country and select all ads. Otherwise, you'll notice you try to type in something, it's not going to work, but pretty simple. And then you can start typing in brands you've found. And so I think the best way to find brands, you can literally just start Googling like top direct-to-consumer companies, or as you are using Facebook or Instagram yourself, start taking notes of the physical product companies, or maybe even not, that you think are doing a good job at marketing. Plug them in here. If you can find their Facebook page, then you'll be able to see that they're ads. So for example, this Ridge wallet, I think I found them on my own personal Facebook. And then you start searching for Ridge wallet. And one way to know if they're running a lot of ads, or a good idea, is if you search for their page like this and you see a ton of ads pop up. So on the next page, after you click on their Facebook page, from ad library, you'll see all the ads that they're running. If they're running tons of different variations of similar ads, that lets you know that they're pushing significant volume, because there's no reason to create that many variations of similar ads unless you're doing quite a bit of volume, because you need to be constantly iterating. So for example, for them, here's an ad that they're running. You can get some ideas for the ad itself. You can click on their ad and see the landing page that they're using. And so this is a great way to find out what other people are doing. So now you know how to structure, the basic setups of a Shopify store. And then once you do that, how to structure the right kind of landing page, where and how to get it created, and then how to find examples of landing pages and ads that you can literally just copy and see what they're doing. And that's a good place to start. And then you can start creating your own variations off of that. Still to this day, I a lot of times do that just because it makes your life so much simpler. Maybe I'm not the best person at just creating stuff from scratch, but I'm pretty good at taking something that seems to be working and then making it work for myself, and maybe possibly making it work even a little bit better. And so I believe you could do the same thing. Copy what's already working, and then obviously don't copy their brand name, don't copy their products, don't copy their sales copy, all that kind of stuff. Just use what they're doing as a template and apply it to your business. And then it doesn't really hurt them, but benefits you. You save a ton of time because you know it's already working in another business, which is a good sign. So up next, we're going to talk about the most important ratio to scale your direct-to-consumer business to $100,000 per month and beyond. I'll see you in the next video.